13 Bannerman Road is where Sarah Jane Smith lives.
The Sarah Jane Adventures was the second Doctor Who spin-off created by RTD. It's all about aliens who have a strange fetish for Ealing. Don't know why, Ealing's a shithole. Sarah Jane gains a test tube baby that somehow makes two friends and they all save the world together. How the fuck did I watch this? After school, they all hunt aliens instead of going to the local wreck for a piss-up like most teenagers. It was introduced so that the late Elizabeth Sladen could be brought to the younger fans' attention after she last appeared in the BBC One charity special Dimensions in Time in 1993 before the show was rebooted in 2007. The show was released 17 years ago. Oh my good god. So to rank the show, we've got a sexy tier list. The way I will rank each episode is by looking at the storyline, the humour, the character arcs, the enjoyable impact and the villain of each episode, based each out of 10, and then I'll put them into my rankings, which are the best, incredible, good, meh, and Chris Chibnall. There are... I haven't counted. 11 episodes: Invasion of the Bane, Revenge of the Slitheen Part 1 and Part 2, Eye of the Gorgon Part 1 and Part 2, Warriors of Kudlak Part 1 and Part 2, Whatever Happened to Sarah Jane Smith Part 1 and Part 2, and The Lost Boy Part 1 and Part 2. So, grab your Haribos.
Talk about this Haribo Starmix Sweeties. I like the hearts.
Load up PUBG.
What a fucking nigga.
Or load up FIFA.
Goalkeeping by Handanovic. Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
And let's rank Series 1 of the Sarah Jane Adventures. New Year's Day 2007. Teddy Sheringham at 40 years old had just become the oldest scorer in the EPL. David Tennant had just murdered a massive spider, and the pilot was released of the Sarah Jane Adventures with a cool transition.
Chippy chips.
Romy on the beat.
We meet Maria and she's introduced as a key character and it's made clear that her parents are going through a divorce.
Don't go through the front, go around the side, I did say. Mind you, not bad.
What a start to a kids show. Maria then starts to see these purple lights coming out of her window at night and decides that she's going to go over and investigate. Right, like, come on Sarah Jane. Why on the driveway? Like, you're not very good at hiding it, are you?
How would you know if you were going mad?
Ask your mother, she's the expert.
I'm going to tell her you said that.
I love the way the family dynamic is just sort of thrown in your face. You're forced to understand how it works, and I think that's a good thing because you can see in other seasons, like for example Doctor Who, where 13 had way too many companions. You then meet this weird overconfident friend called Kelsey, who basically just bullies Maria for not having a music channel. Nice. To summarise the plot, there's basically an alien drink that everybody is drinking that basically has the power to turn you into a zombie. Then we have PSHE legend internet safety man getting aroused by a little bottle of Fanta, followed by Sarah Jane trying to kill Alan. We then have a shot of the Springfield school bus turning in, and I swear he's always staring at me. Then we have Test Tube Boy ready to spawn in and, I don't know, bag a hat trick. Sarah Jane zaps her lipstick and then proceeds to have the longest conversation ever with Mrs. Wormwood.
Drink bubble shock, Miss Smith.
Mrs. Wormwood,
I'd rather...
Diddy's party.
And Sarah basically refuses to drink the drink. I mean, look at the disgust on her face. And oh my god, who let him run the school trip?
hiya, Suki.
And of course, Maria's idiot of a friend uses her phone and ignores the rule. We then get this incredible shot of the Bane, and it's the first time really that we get to see the Bane. It's a very good looking villain from that angle.
Tara's got it! Oh, hi everyone.
Worship something called the Holy Oak. No, Hollyoaks.
There's an incredible bit of comedy there from Mrs. Wormwood, and then... fuck. Nonce Man's right outside during the end of school day. And I know this is 2007, but please tell me that CGI isn't shocking. I think that's Hitler. And then we get the long-awaited return. It's K9 for the first time on TV since 1983. Sarah Jane then flexes on the haters, showing her supercomputer Mr. Smith.
Drink it.
Two baby Sarah Maria then break into the factory. Apparently artificially grown kid's quite intelligent, does some code cracking thing to... I don't really know what he does. And this is the most dramatic outro ever for a villain on any Doctor Who style show.
Until the next time, Miss Smith.
It's mad because we don't see her for the rest of season 1. Then they blow up a factory. Yay! And then that kind of ends the episode there. We get a nice ending where Sarah adopts Luke and basically welcomes him into his home. And that's the end of episode 1. So despite the weird kind of nonce man and the strange kids jokes, I actually think this was a solid episode. I'm going to give the storyline a 6 out of 10, the humour a 7 out of 10, the character art's 8 out of 10, the enjoyable impact a 5 out of 10, the villain 5 out of 10. And to be fair, I think this episode can go in good. It's a decent pilot, I'd say. September 2007, Revenge of the Slitheen Part 1 was released. It starts off showing Maria and Alan painting together, how cute, which I think shows the family dynamic. And then Maria has her first day at school. She's weirdly smiling. I mean, who smiles to her first day at school? And she goes in with Luke.
That's a bit flashy. It's a brand new building.
I'm surprised they even notice. Like, who actually goes to school and thinks, holy shit, there's a new building, yay!
And study hard, because I guarantee none of you are going to be pop stars.
That's fucking brutal. We then meet Clyde, who is the most similar to the audience. You can see his disgust in the way that Luke talks. I mean,
Probably hanging out with you till I meet some cooler people. How do you do? I'm Luke Smith.
What about the caretaker?
I've taken care of the caretaker.
there may be aliens, but at least there's no nonces. So essentially, the Slitheen's plan is to build generators in schools to drain the sun. Schools is slightly weird. Anyway, one of the things I like about this episode is you can start to see Luke making social mistakes, which is okay because there's Sarah Jane telling him that actually it's not an issue, like, it's fine. We're then reintroduced to Maria's mum, who has obviously forgotten about Maria's first day at school.
Went okay for her today.
What went okay for today?
Her first day at the new school.
That was today.
But don't worry, I can light a candle.
No, I'll do it.
So essentially the Slitheen's generator malfunctions, and of course there's only one man that can fix it.
And we destroy this planet.
So they need help from someone really clever, and they disguise looking for help as a lunchtime school club for geniuses pretty much, and obviously it's test tube artificial baby Luke that works it out.
All your problems are over.
Yes, all of my problems are.
I don't know about yours, though.
What a creepy looking sausage. We then get the first real teaser of like Luke, Clyde, Maria being like a gang together as they decide to investigate the school. However, stupidly, they decide to split up.
She really shouldn't be hanging around school after home time.
Oh, shizzle sticks. So we then see Luke find the generator, Sarah on a date with Susan Boyle, and oh shit, is that the caretaker getting naked?
Slitheen!
I mean, what a way to introduce the villain. And then just when you think it couldn't get any worse, when you think the gang have hit checkmate.
Is there a way out through here?
No, there's no way out.
I am a child of the Slitheen, and this is my hunt.
Shit, it's that prefect!
No, we're not going.
We're fucking anywhere.
Move! No! What the fuck? I'm getting really sick of you! Go out now! No! Go out! Go out now!
What a cliffhanger and what ending to the second episode. I'm going to give that a storyline a 7, humour a 6, character arc an 8, enjoyable impact an 8, and villain a 7. I think it's such a good episode, and for me, it goes in incredible. Okay, so Revenge of the Slitheen Part 2. It's a poor start to the episode, especially for the Slitheen, as they just look like ratty little goblins. In World War III, they have giant claws, they have great smell, they're actually dangerous, where in this, they kind of just look like Mickey Mouse. Sarah Jane then comes and saves the gang from the school.
Thus, the Senate, the Blatherine, and the Hostrazine will beg for mercy at my feet!
It's such a shame this guy's not a recurring villain. He's so good.
Right, what's going on in here? And no one's telling me what's going on.
Just shut up for the minute, will you? I'm busy. And right now, you're not important.
Oh, Sarah, what a bitch. Acting like the Doctor with Mickey Smith.
Dozen of rats. Vacuum-packed rats.
And you decided to scream?
It took me by surprise.
Like a little girl.
It was dark, I was covered in rats.
9, maybe 10 years old. I'm seeing pigtails, really skirt.
Hello, can we focus?
We then have Mr. Smith showing the global generators and how their Slitheen are planning to turn off the sun. Everything goes under the radar on this. Like, it's not spoken about enough how the power is detrimental and, well, McDonald's fries won't be working, plug-in electric blankets won't be working, and all the other shit like hospitals and stuff. They then find out that the way to defeat the Slitheens is through vinegar.
What was in your lunch?
Cold chip sandwich.
No, Celine in the office, she was eating a sandwich. What was on those chips?
Just salt and vinegar. No, they put extra salt in everything. Bread, butter. It's got to be something else. It's got to be the vinegar.
They then, as a group, will decide to head back to the school to defeat the Slitheen, and Clyde and Maria hit demon time and just brutally murder a Slitheen.
That's why we win!
And then they all decide to get captured really, really conveniently easily.
Yes.
Right.
The whole solution of the plot focuses on Luke learning from his social mistakes, and I think it's really well displayed. But then the way that bloody Sarah Jane throws the sonic lipstick is more dramatic than Miss Wormwood's outro in Invasion of the Bane. We then have quite like a sad moment where the Slitheen plead to save the 12-year-old.
I'm only 12.
He's my son.
The 12-year-old gets saved. Fuck me, this is dark for a kid show. We then have quite a nice moment as Clyde tried to convince Sarah Jane to let Luke call her mum.
He's gone back to calling you Sarah Jane. It should be Mum. You think?
And you know what that scene was? Character arc points everywhere. See, my biggest issue with this episode is it brushes past the severity of the power of the sun going out. And I know it's a kid's show, but it should still display it. And also it makes the Slitheen look weak and pathetic, which is frustrating because they're quite weird aliens anyway. So you kind of need to make them look stronger, especially in a kid's show. But I don't even think they do that good of a job in this episode of being scary. Okay, so over to the tier list. I think the storyline's a 6 out of 10, the humour's a 4 out of 10, the character arc's a 10 out of 10, I think is really strong. The enjoyable impact's a 5 out of 10, and the villain scores a 3 out of 10, so I think I'm going to go with this episode in meh. Okay, Eye of the Gorgon Part 1, probably my favourite episode in Series 1 off the top of my head. We start off an old people's home where poor little Dorothy gets scared by a nun.
The nun! Help me! She's here!
I have to say, this scene is a little odd, as these nuns don't really have a reason to be here, and to be fair, they're not actually ghosts. Maria's mum wants to move back in, who seems to be a prostitute at this point because one of her many boyfriends has dumped her. Luke then starts chatting up some old dear who has Alzheimer's, but seems to have met Hooniverse aliens before.
Oh, don't be afraid. It's all right. I've seen unusual people before.
Okay, so long story short, Gorgons need 3 keys to return the last Gorgon back to her home planet. B, Luke's missus, for whatever reason, has a 3rd talisman. Hidden. In a tree. PE teachers at lunchtime from their office window. I think Russell does really well at showing the blink and you miss it moments of Chrissy trying to brainwash Maria into not going off with Sarah Jane, where Alan just kind of allows it and plays good cop as the parents.
Yeah? How come you walked out on me then?
Maria?
Get out!
Mr. Smith becomes a snake.
I'm aware that Luke has brought an unidentified element of alien technology into the attic.
Maria and Sarah return to see Luke's missus without Luke. I don't really think that's fair. Fuck me, she needs a pedicure. I think this whole sequence here with B and Sarah really just shows, especially with the way that Sarah reacts to the Sontarans, really displays the power of conveying messages that this show had.
The Sontarans were the silliest looking race in the galaxy. Like a huge potato.
quite nasty blighters they were, all the same.
Oh, yes, Bee, they are, you're right.
And then a nun shows up at Sarah's house whilst she's not there, but Luke and Clyde are.
Give me the talisman.
Hello, sister. Collection, is it?
I have to say, Alan is such a great character. And there's actually humour in this. I feel like Doctor Who lacks this now. So Luke and Clyde ignore what Sarah Jane said and decide they want to explore the Abbey. Not before getting stopped by these weirdos.
I can help you.
No way!
If one of my friends got beaten up like a girl on the playground like this, you just know I'm not friends with him the next day. Also, you gotta say, Luke didn't really put up a fight. I think he wanted to be kidnapped. Avengers assemble. It's Sarah finds out about the kidnapping and she gives them no chance. She comes to an agreement that she'll give them the talisman if they let Luke go. Sarah thinks she's cleverer than the nuns, but no, that backfires.
Doors open.
No, Alan's been turned into stone. So over to the tier list. I think the storyline's a 7, the humour's an 8, the character arc's a 7, the enjoyment's a 6, and the villain's a 5. I think in the part 1 it's really the nuns, so I'm gonna just about go with good, but it's not far off incredible. Eye of the Gorgon part 2. Now we're getting saucy. Maria's dad is still stoned, the nuns have the talisman. How is Sarah gonna save the gang? Luke and Clyde just big chilling down at the Abbey, but obviously Test Tube Kid finds a way out because he's so clever. That's not convenient for the plot in any way whatsoever. Mr. Smith confirms Maria's dad's going through a transition. Is that like the James Rodriguez transition? However, the only person that can actually reverse the transition is Luke's missus.
Bee.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
One of the subcategories we talk about when ranking the episode is humour, and I honestly think this is the best humour in the show.
Woman's obsessed. She really is a bunny boiler, this one. Couldn't have the real thing, so she's made herself a statue.
The nun's trying to open a portal and, oh my bloody god, it's Lightning McQueen. She's trying to turn Luke to stone, but it's okay, he just walks away. Seriously, where are all these nuns spawning from? It's like a skeleton spawner in Minecraft. But finally, Bee remembers how to stop the Gorgon.
For me? What do you think I'm going to do? Powder my nose while you take on that monster? It's for you.
Fucking hell, Maria, come on, wake up. The nuns get a little kinky with Sarah Jane before deciding she's dry enough to be their leader. I can't believe I just said that.
You can do what you want to me, but this planet will never bow down to that thing.
Oh, that was kind of rough. She really thought she'd got him. Whew. Luke saves his mum from going to heaven, and then Maria comes in with a mirror and turns the Gorgon into stone. Hooray! The day is saved! They all head back and Alan's turned into a real boy again, and then they gaslight Maria's mum, obviously.
It was right here, bold as you like, a statue of my Alan. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sarah and Maria then try to cure Bee's Alzheimer's by going back, but obviously it doesn't work. Fucking dumb bitches. But Bee does remember her late husband on a nice ending to the episode. So for this episode, I actually think the storyline was an 8 out of 10, the humour was a 10 out of 10, the character arcs were only 6 out of 10, I think the characters look quite weak, the enjoyment was a 7 out of 10, the villain was a 6 out of 10, a slight improvement, but still not great. This episode's tough between good and incredible, but I actually think it's just about incredible. Okay, so I've split this video into 2 parts. So, in the next video we will rank Warriors of Kudelak Part 1 and Part 2, Whatever Happened to Sarah Jane Smith, Part 1 and Part 2, and The Lost Boy, Part 1 and Part 2. Whilst you're here though, make sure you do check out the other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next part.